Hello. As we have seen in the previous session, the Fourier transform for the periodic signal g of f, we got it as g of f, we got it as is equal to g of f, we got it as 1 by Ts summation n varies from minus infinite to plus infinite del of f minus n by Ts we got. This is the Fourier transform for the periodic signal, and if you recollect the xg of t, just we have seen xg of t, xg of f is equal to x of f convolution with g of f. So, just I am trying to substitute this particular expression in this particular equation. So, this becomes xg of f is equal to x of f, the convolution 1 by Ts summation n varies from minus infinite to plus infinite del of f minus n by Ts. So, now this xg of f can be written as x of f, or we can say it as 1 by Ts, 1 by Ts summation n varies from minus infinite to plus infinite x of f convolution with del of f minus n by Ts. So, now if you based on the convolution property of the impulse function, if any signal whether it is in the time domain or frequency domain convolve with this particular the shifted impulse function gives you this function itself. Wherever you have that f should be replaced by f minus n by Ts based on the property. So, from that we can conclude as xg of f can be written as 1 by Ts sigma n varies from minus infinite to plus infinite. Now, any arbitrary signal, this x of f convolving with this the delayed version of impulse function is nothing but the same signal itself. So, wherever you have that f should be replaced by f should be replaced by f minus n by Ts. So, in that way this will become x of f minus n by Ts. So, this is the mathematical expression of sampled signal in the frequency domain. Suppose if I want to expand it, xg of f is equal to 1 by Ts x of f. This is valid when n is equal to 0. I am trying to n is equal to 0. I am trying to expand the summation plus 1 by Ts x of f minus 1 by Ts. This is valid when n is equal to 1, and plus 1 by Ts x of f plus 1 by Ts. This is valid when n is equal to minus 1, and plus 1 by Ts x of f minus 2 by Ts. This is valid when n is equal to 2, and plus 1 by Ts x of f plus 2 by Ts. This is valid when n is equal to minus 2, plus so on it continues. Now, I already assume the Fourier transform. We have taken, if you remember, we have taken an x of t, a signal like this, which is a signal like this, x of t, and we have taken the Fourier transform for this particular signal as x of f, as the signal is band limited to signal is band limited to omega. This is the spectrum for this particular signal, x of f, and this is omega, and this minus omega, and this is 0. And this amplitude, let me take it as 1 for time being. So now with this assumption, this is x of f and the Fourier transform, and this is the spectrum. I can also say this is spectrum of signal, spectrum of x of t, or spectrum before sampling, we can call it as spectrum before sampling, spectrum before sampling. Now what I want to understand the spectrum after the sampling. So in order to sketch the spectrum after the sampling, this is the mathematical equation we got for the sampling theorem in the frequency domain. Now based on this particular spectrum before the sampling, we can also sketch the spectrum after the sampling. Now if you look at this expression, xg of f is equal to 1 by Ts x of f plus 1 by Ts x of f minus 1 by Ts. So 1 by Ts into x of f. What is x of f? This is an x of f, and which is nothing but the Fourier transform of this particular signal before the sampling. So the first term 1 by T, this amplitude of this particular spectrum should be multiplied by 1 by Ts, plus again the same spectrum should be delayed by 1 by Ts with an amplitude of 1 by Ts, and the same spectrum should be advanced by 1 by Ts with the amplitude of 1 by Ts, and similarly the same spectrum is diluted. So if you try to add this all the different spectrums for the different terms, the consolidated spectrum will become the spectrum after the sampling. So let us try to understand based on this how we can sketch the spectrum after the sampling. So suppose if at all if I want to draw the spectrum, if I want to draw the spectrum after the sampling, so let me now based on this particular equation, I can take if 1 by Ts is equal to 2 omega, how the spectrum looks like. Means if I recall the sampling theorem statement, 1 by Ts is greater than or equal to 2 into highest frequency of the message signal, as per the sampling theorem. Now what I am trying to take for this condition, I am taking the minimum value is equal. So which is known as the Nyquist rate, we call it as Nyquist rate, we call it as. Nyquist rate is nothing but minimum sampling rate is called Nyquist rate, we call it. Minimum sampling rate is called Nyquist rate, we call it as minimum sampling rate. So why it is minimum sampling rate? If you look at the sampling theorem definition, 1 by Ts is greater than or equal to 2 into omega, greater than or equal to minimum value is equal. So that's the reason 1 by Ts is equal to 2 omega, which is known as Nyquist rate, and this is Nyquist rate can be defined as minimum sampling rate is called the Nyquist rate. So for this, if I want to draw the spectrum for the Nyquist rate, xg of f, it looks like this. Right. So this is 0. If you look at the first term, 1 by T is x of f. X of f is this. So you'll have a spectrum. The amplitude is 1 here, but we are trying to divide the amplitude, multiply the amplitude with 1 by Ts. So this amplitude becomes 1 by Ts, and this is 0 and omega, and this is minus omega. This is a spectrum for the first term. This is a spectrum for this term, 1 by Ts into x of f. X of f as it is, amplitude is multiplied by this 1 by Ts. Similarly, the second term, if I want to draw the second time, 1 by Ts x of f minus 1 by Ts. The same x of f will be delayed. This x of f will be delayed. Delayed means right shift by 1 by Ts. And this 1 by Ts is equal to 2 omega. This 1 by Ts is equal to 2 omega. So in that case, the second term looks like this, and this will be the 1 by Ts. And if you look at the negative side, also will have spectrum like this, and this is minus 1 by Ts, and similarly you have signals like this, and this side also will have. This is 2 by Ts, and all these amplitudes becomes 1 by Ts only. So 0 to omega is omega, omega to this point is omega. So that's the reason 1 by Ts is equal to 2 omega. The sample spectrum looks like this. Similarly, we can also draw the spectrum if 1 by Ts is greater than xg of f. This is xg of f, and this is f. And I am taking the if 1 by Ts is greater than 2 into omega. So this is called oversampling. We call it as oversampling. If 1 by T is greater than omega. The spectrum looks like this again, the first term, second term, and this continues here. This continues here also, it continues. So similarly here 0 minus omega, we can have this is plus omega, and if 1 by Ts is greater than omega, in the sense you will get the gap, it looks like this. And this is 1 by Ts, and this is minus 1 by Ts, and this amplitude again will becomes 1 by Ts. Now this generally this range of frequencies will be considered as the God bands. The reason why we are getting this God band is 0 to omega is 1 omega, and from this point to this point is omega. So, but this total distance in terms of frequency 1 by Ts is greater than omega. That's the reason we are getting the gap between the triangular pulses. Similarly, we can take another condition if 1 by Ts less than 2 omega, which is known as the undersampling. And the spectrum for this undersampling can be drawn as this is xg of f, and this is f. I say 1 by Ts less than 2 omega, it looks like this. And this amplitude, this is 0, and this is omega, and this is minus omega, and this amplitude looks like minus 1 by Ts. So this point will becomes 1 by Ts, and this point becomes minus 1 by Ts. Now this overlapping of frequencies, this is an area where the two triangular pulses are getting the overlapping. This particular overlapping of frequencies is known as aliasing, we call it as aliasing effect, aliasing effect in the sense overlapping of frequencies. Now if you look at these three conditions, if the signal is sampled with the Nyquist rate, with the minimum sampling rate, the sample spectrum looks like this, and if the signal is sampled with oversampling rate, the sampling spectrum looks like this. If the signal is sampled with undersampling rate, the sample spectrum looks like this. So out of this, based on the different sampling rates, the spectrums looks like this, and these are the spectrum in either of the sampling rate. Suppose if my sampling rate is equal to the Nyquist rate, my sample spectrum looks like this. If the signal is sampled with oversampling rate, means if 1 by Ts is greater than 2 omega, the sample spectrum looks like this. If the signal is sampled with undersampling rate, the spectrum looks like this. So Now these are either of this particular spectrum will become the spectrum after sampling, and now these spectrums will be considered as spectrum after sampling, we call it as spectrum after sampling or sampled spectrum. We also call it as sampled spectrum, we call it as sampled spectrum. Now from this particular either of this particular spectrum, we need to get back this particular signal. So what we do is either of this particular three will be allowed through a low pass filter, will be allowed through a ideal low pass filter in order to reconstruct the ideal low pass filter in order to reconstruct the this particular signal, So maybe the input for this ideal low pass filter can be this signal, this spectrum or this spectrum or this spectrum. Now what would be the characteristics, the magnitude characteristics of this ideal low pass filter is, if you take this ideal low pass filter H of f, it looks like this is minus omega and 0, this is plus omega. The cutoff frequency of this ideal low pass filter looks like this, and the magnitude of ideal low pass filter will becomes 1 always for ideal filters, and the cutoff frequency is the 1, gain is 1 and the cutoff frequency is omega. Now let us try to understand if in the present the input for this ideal low pass filter is this is the spectrum, and if the spectrum is an input and output already we know we are talking about reconstruction now, and I should be in a position to reconstruct this particular spectrum at the receiver side, and in order to get this particular the original spectrum from the sample spectrum, and the sample spectrum should be allowed through a ideal low pass filter whose cutoff frequency is omega, and the gain of the ideal low pass filter will becomes 1. Suppose if I allow the spectrum through this ideal low pass filter, it allows only if this is an input for this low pass filter, it allows only this range of frequencies. So only this portion of the signal will be allowed through the low pass filter, and the rest of the signal will be blocked by the low pass filter, and where the magnitude is here it is 1, and here the magnitude of this particular spectrum is 1 by Ts. So we need to design the ideal low pass filter with a cutoff frequency, with a gain is equal to Ts, and cutoff frequency should be omega at this. Then only if I try to design a low pass filter with this particular specifications, we can reconstruct this particular signal from the sample spectrum. Similarly, even if the second case, if this is an input for the low pass filter, still we can reconstruct the signal from the sample spectrum, because only this portion of the signal will be allowed from the low pass filter, and only this part of the signal will be allowed. Happily we can reconstruct the signal even if the signal is sampled with the oversampling rate. But if you look at the third case, if the signal samples with the undersampling, this total portion of the signal will be allowed through the low pass filter, where this total portion also is getting allowed through the low pass filter, which is not required, because the original signal do not contain this particular part of the signal, but still because of this overlapping of frequencies, and that overlapping of frequency which is known as aliasing effect, this aliasing effect we are getting because the signal is violating the sampling theorem. In the sense, the sampling theorem signal should be sampled with 1 by Ts should be greater than or equal to 2 omega. In the first case it is valid, in second case it is also valid. Greater than or equal or greater than, still it is valid, but whereas this is violating the sampling theorem, that's the reason the adjacent triangular pulses in the frequency domain getting overlap, which is known as aliasing effect. So that's the reason if the signal is sampled with undersampling rate, which is violating the sampling theorem, cannot be reconstructed from its samples. So the conclusion of this particular discussion is this three could be the spectrum for the sample spectrum depending upon the sampling rate. If the signal is sampled with Nyquist rate, sample spectrum looks like this. If the signal is sampled with oversampling rate, the sample spectrum looks like this. If the signal is sampled with undersampling, the sample spectrum looks like this. And out of these three, we can reconstruct this particular signal original spectrum from the sampled spectrum if the signals are sampled even with the Nyquist rate and oversampling rate. But we cannot reconstruct the original spectrum from the sampled spectrum if the signal is sampled with undersampling rate because of this aliasing effect and the overlapping of frequency. The aliasing effect is nothing but alias. It's nothing but overlapping of frequencies in the spectrum. So this is all about the sampling theorem and the spectrums after the sampling. Now this is a spectrum before sampling, these are the spectrums after the sampling. And let us try, maybe I'll try to take a couple of problems in the next session and to make you understand how these conclusions can be used and how we are going to sketch the spectrum, particular spectrum before sampling, and how we are going to sketch the spectrum after the sampling. Sample spectrum, how we are going to draw the sample spectrum and how we are going to draw the spectrum before sampling. These things I'll try to take an example maybe in the next session and which will give us a lot of clarity about all this particular analysis what we did in order to understand sampling theorem perfectly. Thank you. So let us take a couple of problems in the next session to understand the sampling theorem. Thank you.